Think about this past 2 days. If you agree with the following statement, how would you fill in the blank? The 10 pages in 2 days writing retreat is worth attending because I like to think about me saying this to a bestie or a friend, like keep it real casual. What would you say? Please let me know in the chat. Or again, if you are an external processor, I welcome you saying it out loud. I want you to reflect on where you were when we first started, how you maybe what you thought this was going to be, what you thought you were paying for or showing up for if someone invited you, and how was it on the other side? It helped me to focus my working session. It's worth attending because it gives you really easy tools to stay focused and efficient. There is power in community. Yes, it pushed me to stop making excuses and just do it. Ooh, that's a hard conversation to have with yourself. A needed one, right? A necessary one, but it's hard. So good for you, Bridget. You're giving me my confidence back. You gave it to yourself, Brian. Like, listen, you showed up. Like, you know how many people come to this event and they listen to me and they say, oh, that's cute. I'm not doing it. It ain't gonna work for me. And then they move on and they say it didn't work for them. But you actually tried it. It incorporated like what we've been discussing. Okay. It helped me break things down and just get something done, plain language. Gave me a map for writing. I was surrounded by people who won't let me be weak. Yes. hmm So, you just tell your friends. Okay, let's go to Disney World. Okay, so for those of you who have heard my spiel about Disney World, I want you to picture where you were the last time you heard it, or maybe where were you the first time I used this example, and compare it to where you are right now. Okay, we're going to Disney World. Why? Because it's the most magical place on earth. Okay, so let's imagine you are a little kid. Okay, because this is where I was thinking when I wrote this example. You are a little person, and your parent comes into the room, your bedroom, and they say, listen, if you clean your room, we can go to Disney World. Because what little person doesn't want to go to Disney World? Okay, we got Mickey, we got Harry Potter World. Okay, we got so many things I'm not naming. So if you just make your bed and you throw away your trash and you just straighten up your books and you vacuum your floor, we can go to Disney World. That's the deal. If you do these 4 things, we can go to Disney World. You say, really? I've been asking you for so long, but we're going? You're so excited. And so then you say, I really want to show my parent that I deserve to go to Disney World. Like, I want them to know and not even question that I deserve to go to Disney World. So not only am I going to do those 4 things that they're telling me to do, I'm also going to declutter my closet. I'm going to declutter my books. I'm going to wipe down the baseboards, and I'm going to do some upcycling of my books and my clothes. I'm going to be real creative. I love being creative, right? So this is your list that you create for yourself. But you get started, and because you're spicy, you realize that it makes more sense to do this part first before I do this part. So you start with the closet, but it becomes overwhelming because if you ever declutter your closet, then like, I don't know why I thought I was going to do that. So then you skip over to the books. You say, I'm not going to even do the upcycling because I'm running out of steam. And then you find yourself like procrastinating because you done went down your old, like you found your old journal, and now you like reading the journal, and now you like finding old games you used to play, and you procrastinate so much that you tired, and you never make the bed, you never throw away the trash, you never organize your bookshelf, and you never vacuum the floors. You got caught up somewhere in the middle over here. Everybody following me? You don't get to the first part. Right? The original agreement is if you do these 4 things, we get to go to Disney World. You did all these other things except the 4 things. because it started from a belief that I want to show that I deserve to go to Disney World. Because it can't be that easy that if I just do those 4 things, we get to go to Disney World. I've been asking to go to Disney World for years since I first saw the commercial. And you mean to tell me that all of a sudden, if I just did those 4 things, you're going to take me to Disney World? You're going to give me a reward that huge? That don't make sense. Okay. This is you sabotaging yourself. And it is a habit. Now, we don't got to shame ourselves. We all got habits. Some we love, some necessary, but some that we are not aware of. And I argue that this is a habit that you are not aware of. You probably are more aware of it now that you've been here this weekend, but you may not have been aware of, like, this is what sabotage looks like. If we go to a dissertation example, you make a doable weekly plan. It's something we talk a lot about in FYD. Make a doable weekly plan. So a bare minimum weekly plan looks like read 3 articles, write 3 shitty paragraphs, email weekly update to chair, sort chair's comments into 60 seconds or more versus 60 seconds or less, and respond to 5 comments. Let's say that's what you're going to spend your 10 hours this week doing, these 5 things. That's a good plan. But because you have the expectation and you have the habit of self-sabotage, you say 3, the 3s, that's too little. That's not worth my time. You say, no, I need to read 75 articles. I need to write 30 perfect pages. I need to send a polish. You know my chair? Like, they deserve nothing but, or they expect nothing but excellence. And if I do my due diligence, Dr. Lacy, if I read all these articles and make sure my pages are perfect, I'm not going to have any feedback from my chair and I get to go faster. You see how I'm working? Smarter, not harder. And I'm going to say to you, you're going to do the same thing that you did in that bedroom. You're going to get overwhelmed somewhere between, like, how do I find 75 articles and what I'm supposed to do with all these articles and where I'm supposed to organize? Oh, maybe I should use Zotero. Oh, I never use Zotero. Let me go learn. Let me go watch some YouTube videos. Oh, let me set this up. And then 3 weeks then went by because you set up your Zotero. Now you can read the articles, but now you got to figure out, how do I translate my notes to these pages? But it's 30 pages and they got to be perfect. Oh, let me send it to my bestie. Let me send it to my mentor. Let me send it over here. And months have gone by. You haven't talked to your chair. You don't have any pages to show for it. And your chair just thinks you just, low key quit. And now you're going to have an attitude when they tell you, like, I didn't even know you were still in the program. Where you been? You're like, I've been working real hard. Have you? What you got to show for it? All the hours you spend in front of your computer. That's the only thing you have to show for it, which is why we've been talking so much about what results are you producing. In this process, you and your chair are in a relationship. Your chair has the power in the relationship. They have the power to say whether you are ready to go on to your defense. Their signature matters the most. They have the power to say if they like your topic or not, or any other thing that's related to your dissertation. They have the power. But you, my friend, you have influence. And what did Kendrick say at the Super Bowl? It don't matter who control this game. You cannot shake the power of influence. You influence how your chair and the rest of your committee shows up. So if you are showing up and you're like, oh, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just all over the place. But I want to do this and I want to do this, but I want to do this, but I can't get focused. And you have these moments where you do a lot and then you ghost for months and then you do a lot. I don't have great confidence in you that you're going to make the necessary progress to get the dissertation. I mean, you telling me you want to graduate by May, but your actions looking real shaky. I'm not influenced. Versus if you show up and you say, hey, for this week, these are the 5 things I'm going to focus on. By the end of this month, I'm going to have a rough draft of this chapter for you. My goal is to graduate by May. Here's how I'm thinking I'm going to get there, but I appreciate your input. This second example is someone who's like, hey, I don't got all the answers, but this is what I do know. This is what I've been able to do. And this is what I would like for you to help me with, chair. You know what the chair's going to say? Oh, thank you for making that easy for me. Oh, yeah, you absolutely can graduate by May with this plan. We just need a little few tweaks. It'll work. I want you to think about that. You have influence, they have power. What are you influencing your chair to believe about you in your process? I think about the doctoral journey into 4 separate skill sets that you have to master, if you will, to get to the other side. So we got project management, right? Because you got 11 things that happens in a dissertation. You got the actual research project of it, and you have the actual writing of it. And when does everything need to get done? Oh, and also some of you are still taking courses, and you got the administrative side of the doctoral process about when paperwork is due. So you got project management. Number 2 is conducting your actual research. How are you designing a research? How are you getting the data? What are you actually doing with the data? That's number 2. Number 3 is, okay, what does this data mean with the actual dissertation topic? How do you write? How do you edit? How do you read? How do you do scholarly things? And then 4, how do you have the confidence and the trust that what you're doing makes a difference, that what you are doing is going to get you to graduation, and that you believe that you are someone who is smart enough or ready enough to be a doctor, right? So these are the 4 areas. The only thing that your program is responsible for is teaching you research. They're not responsible for teaching you how to manage your time or your energy. They did not agree in terms of helping you learn how to write. You got multiple degrees. You should know how to write. And the identity embodiment, do that on your own time with your own family. The only job of the program is let me teach you what you need to know for the field, and let me teach you what you need to know for research. Everything else, figure it out. I'm going to move through that. I like to ask the question, why are you rushing to the end of this process? Why are you rushing to graduation? What happens after graduation? Like, tell me what happens the day after graduation. Tell me what your next step is after graduation. Tell me where you're going. Most students cannot answer the question for me. They're like, Dr. Lacy, I'll think about that when I graduate. You know what I tell them? You won't. You don't know what comes next. Up to this point, friend, you didn't have a plan. Okay. You didn't have a 5-year plan your whole life. And now you get to somebody's doctoral program and you don't even know what's happening next month, 6 months from now. You got, you have concepts of a plan, but you don't have a plan. I could not. Right. I mean, but that's how y'all sounding. So when I ask people, why are you rushing to the end of the process? This is why. You think that if I could just get to graduation, I will have so much relief, and then I could figure out what's next. I have my life back. But your nervous system is like, no, that don't make no sense. Your nervous system is like, see, we know what we're doing here. Like right now, we have a sense of purpose. We're working on a dissertation. But if you finish this dissertation and there's nothing next, what are we doing? Your nervous system does not like uncertainty in that way, which is why you've always had a 5-year plan. And now you didn't change it up and you don't even know what's happening next. You're too afraid to admit to yourself really what you want to do. But that's a whole different conversation. I'm talking about like self-sabotage as a habit because I want to show you that your way is not working. Again, I know I'm not trying to, this is not saying you are a bad person. I am communicating to you that the process, the steps, the routines that you've been using since you were an undergraduate student, they're no longer working. Try something else. Try something different. Why keep doing it if it's not working? And I want to name and normalize that becoming a doctor is hard. That's why you signed up for it. If we go back to visiting you the summer before you enrolled in this program, you did it because what comes with it, right? The clout that comes with having doctor in front of your name, putting that letter, those letters in your signature. No matter what room you walk in, you know they're gonna have to say, "Hey, doctor." That's why you're doing it. You did not understand the price that was required to get there. That's the only thing that's happened. There's nothing wrong with you. The only thing that happened is you just didn't have enough information in the beginning to know that it was going to be this hard. Like you knew it was going to be hard, but you didn't know it was going to be this hard. And I am saying that to master this level of difficulty, you have to learn how to put yourself first, give yourself what you need, and show up and learn and embrace the identity of being doctor. So we follow this framework, this mindset of be a bare minimum scholar baddie. Let's need to get those shirts back. Okay, I'm put the Danielle, help me remember. Please keep me accountable. Okay, because I really do like that shirt. Be a bare minimum baddie. Thank you, Mimi Stewart. Okay, a bare minimum scholar looks like this. Energy management is time management. You no longer focus on how many hours you're showing up. You focus on how do I feel? You protect your energy first. Because if you're burnt out, guess what's not going to happen? Writing. So you think about what do I need to not only increase my energy, but to maintain my energy. You heard Mimi earlier say, yeah, I am tired. I'm at the end of this process, but I still got gas in the tank. I know I'm going to get to the end. You heard Dr. Winston talk about, I wanted to get to the end healthy, happy, and whole. And everything that could have happened for her. And she has so much energy at the end. Momentum over motivation, because motivation is a lie and unreliable. Motivation only comes after you take action. Let me say it again for the person multitasking in the back. Motivation only happens after you take action. So if you're waiting for that to get started, you're going to be waiting. Instead, you ask yourself, what is one little thing I can focus on right now? What is one thing? Could I just do this one little thing? Because when you take action on that one little thing, there goes the motivation. And then the motivation says, oh, do another little thing. There goes the momentum. So when we focus on building momentum by doing small tasks, it keeps you moving forward. We do not wait until we feel like writing. You don't have to feel like writing to write. In the same way, you don't feel like going to work, but you be there. In the same way, you don't feel like cooking dinner, but you there. You don't have to feel like writing to write. But when you focus on small habits, when you focus on who am I becoming, based on who I am, how I identify, this is what I do. When you focus on that, it don't matter if you're motivated. Focusing on one thing at a time, because multitasking is a distraction. Multitasking feels good, feels productive. Do you hear what I'm saying? Feels productive. Are you actually producing results though? Yeah, you sat there for 10 hours doing everything but producing results. I tell you to do a 10-hour schedule because I want you to learn how to produce 40 hours worth of results in 10 hours. Why? You got other shit to do, like vacations and be outside or just being in your bed scrolling. So focusing on one thing at a time helps you to do that. You plan for the unmotivated version of you. So when we are creating plans inside of Finish Your Dissertation, we're doing it from the mindset of what is the plan for the most laziest, I don't care, tired, sick version of me? Because that's what's going to show up this week. Most of us, we've been taught or we just are in a practice of planning for the like high achiever in us. When you find yourself saying things like, oh, it's gonna be tight, but I could do it. I just gotta stick to my boundaries. I gotta stick to the plan. When you start saying things like that, I'm gonna invite you to go rework that plan. You're setting yourself up. You're doing that whole thing with the bedroom and the Disney. You could just let it be easy. You could say, I could do this plan, but instead I'm gonna just do these two things on a plan. And if I have time and energy left over, then I will add some more to it. You don't have to do it all right now. Keep your schedule under 10 hours a week. I just went over this. It should not take over your life. And most of you don't know how to produce in 10 hours. So why are you giving yourself 40 hours? I mean, if you just want to feel good because you're sitting in front of your computer and you're sitting there playing around with your emails, you go right ahead. But if you want to get to the graduation, you want to be doctor, learn how to produce results. And the way we do that is we say, okay, what is 15 micro tasks I could do this week? Micro results. A paragraph, a citation, go like request an article, schedule a meeting with your chair. I not only use this process for getting to the end to graduation, but I also used it as a full-time director of a women's resource center, as a postdoc at the University of Maryland, and now as a full-time entrepreneur. Why? Because it's still the same practice. I'm not trying to do all the things. It's like, how can I break it down? How can I make it easy for me? How can I make it easy for the future version of me who don't care about being a doctor, who don't feel like getting out her bed, who is sick of everybody at work, sick of everybody at her house? How does she get to work even when she's having a rough time? You make a plan that's very clear. When you plan, you make as many decisions ahead of time. So, an example of this would be it's Sunday, March 30th, right now. You may feel real good because we're coming off of a weekend and you didn't have to go talk to them people at that job or at that program. And so when you go make a plan on Sunday, you feel real good. And you're like, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, and do this. But when we're thinking about making a plan for the tired, unmotivated, lazy version of us, we say, I'm going to do these 15 micro tasks. And I'm going to look towards the week and see what else is coming up this week. So is this week, are you coming back from spring break if you're a teacher? Are you starting a new unit as a teacher? Do you have a big training at work or something? Do you have little people at home who are sick? Are you sick? Are you going on vacation or to a conference? If so, if there's some other things that are going to come up that are going to drain you of your energy, then that means you go back and you say, okay, how do I get these things done knowing that I have these huge energy draining type events coming up? Does that mean I need to reduce from 15 to 5? Does that mean I need to plan my dinners ahead of time? Does that mean I need to go ahead and lay out all my clothes for the week? Does that mean I need to go ahead and call my homegirl and say, girl, we're going to be writing on Friday because I already know I'm not going to get nothing done the rest of this week and I'm going to need you for Friday. We make decisions. It's not a matter of if an obstacle is going to come up throughout the week. It's when the obstacle comes up, this is what I will do. Remember, I've been saying transitions, decision fatigue is what's like draining you of your energy, which is that's why you can't show up. But when you sit down on Sunday, you make a plan and you think about these things ahead of time, it makes the rest of the week go by so well. You heard Danielle earlier talk about she had all these plans that she's going to do this morning. And then she woke up this morning and was like, oh, that's cute. Instead, I'm going to do this one thing. I'm going to eat breakfast. And then after I'm going to do these things because that is what I have the capacity to do. This is most of the talking that we're doing in this program. This is what your doctoral program, this is not their job to do. They're not here to help you with this. But these are the things that derail you. And when you are practicing the bare minimum scholar mindset, you are willing to fail and learn from your mistakes early and often. Because when you make a mistake, you get some new information. To learn anything new means to make mistakes. That's learning. Because perfection is a trap. And you just want a done dissertation, not a perfect one. So we've been talking about, right? Like, what do you need in order to show up in this way? You need clarity. You need confidence. You need community. You need consistency. You need care. You need all of them. The more you meet your needs, the faster you finish your dissertation. As someone who's been doing this for over 8 years, hundreds of doctors, I'm telling you, it comes down to this. You can have all the writing plans you want to. You can join all the writing challenges you want to. But if you do not meet your needs, you're just going to keep spinning in circles. So here's how we do it in the group. We focus on one monthly milestone that gives you the clarity. That one thing, what is the one thing I'm going to focus on for the next 30 days? It helps you to make decisions. So when you get into the middle of your week and you're like, should I read these articles or should I edit my theoretical framework? Okay, what does your one thing say? Oh, my one thing for the month was to write my methods chapter. Oh, so that means I'm going to edit my theoretical framework because it gives you a clear grounding of like, this is how you make decisions. 2, we evaluate and create a 10-hour weekly plan because the plan gives you the confidence. It shows you this is what you're going to do. This is when you're going to do it. This is how you're going to do it. So if you get to Thursday and you're exhausted and you're like, I know I said I was going to do something, but I'm so tired. You can look at your plan and say, oh, I'm just supposed to read this one paragraph and make sure it sounds like the flow is working. I could do that. I could take the 20 minutes and do that and get in my bed. Number 3, check in with your doc community every week. We meet every week. You either meet because there's open like coaching, get your questions answered, and or you attend one of the writing sessions. But being in community in the same way we've been doing over these past 2 days, you notice people sharing their story and sharing their experience and sharing their resources. That's how you keep going. Even on the days when you don't feel like it, when you're like, I'm so sick of this, I don't want to be nobody's doctor. If you show up to a writing call, you know what magically happens? You're like, I could do this. It's fine. Danielle look like she working real hard. Let me go write a paragraph or something. You update your chair every week. Now, this is something some of y'all gonna have to work your way up to because of the relationship you have with your chair. Updating your chair weekly, most of the time looks like an email. Hey, chair, this is what I'm doing. This is what I'm going. This is what I'm working on. These are some questions I have. This is what you can expect from me coming up. Once you get into the later stages, and it looks like you're meeting with them every week, and y'all start collaborating on a document. Meeting with your chair, communicating with your chair is the key to you being consistent. Because guess what kicks in when you know you have a meeting or you know you have to email them every week? You're like, I want to show up with something. Show up with something. Let me tell them I was doing something. That's how you keep yourself accountable. For the folks, there are some folks who are like, no, I'm not going to be doing that with my chair. It's just hard times. They come into the group and update me, or they send a message, or they just let everybody know in the community, hey, this is my weekly update. The point of the weekly update is to keep you consistent. It's a written record. It's someone witnessing, hey, this is what you've been doing. Accountability means to have a witness where you say to them, this is what I said I was going to do, and this is what I actually did. That level of awareness, you will keep yourself accountable. Many of you, the reason why you're not making the progress you want to make is because you're hiding from who you really are right now and how you're really showing up. You don't want to see, because it's hard. It's real hard. You don't want to see how you keep saying every Sunday, this is the week I'm going to get it together. This is the week I'm going to put in, I'm going to write every day, at least 2 hours every day, only to get to Saturday night and look back and realize I didn't show up at all. Well, next week, and you just move on to next week instead of sitting there and being like, why didn't you show up? What did you decide was more important than you showing up for your 2 hours every day that you said you would? Was it more important, or did something else happen? That is a very hard conversation to have with yourself by yourself on a Saturday night. The last one is following the scholar basics daily to take care of yourself. Drinking your water, laying down, journaling, moving your body, writing shitty paragraphs is how you keep your energy up so that you can show up and do big shit like become a doctor. Nobody's asking you to do these things perfectly. It's a practice. It's a mindset. Invest in yourself. Right? So finish your dissertation is all about writing your dissertation in 12 months or less, following a 10-hour weekly routine. I want you to learn how to rewrite and edit at a scholarly level. That's what we've been talking about over the past 2 days. Are you willing to do this over and over and over? Also help you to increase your understanding and execution of the research process. Many of you are just trying to follow the steps and rush to the end without fully understanding what are you doing and why are you doing it. Because when you go to your defense, that's what they want to know. They want to know, what are you doing and why are you doing it? They don't give two F's about what you read in the literature. They care about, okay, so what data are you collecting and why are you collecting it that way? But also want to help you recognize your strengths and the strategies that help you to show up. Like, what are the things that are working for you, right? Ashley said, I had to break your thing apart. I'm not about to rewrite a whole thing, girl. I did it this way because she recognizes what's working for her. Grow your confidence in yourself, your writing, your ability to finish your dissertation, your ability to be a doctor, and complete a full draft. So how do we do this? Well, first, this Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern, talk about orientation. I'm going to explain to you the 12-week process. We do 12-week process. Why? Because you underestimate what you can do over a long period of time, but you overestimate what you could do in a short period of time. And so we work in these 12-week cycles so that you can have concentrated time of, like, in these next 3 months, these are the results I'm going to produce. So imagine being like, in 3 months, I'm going to write a proposal. I'm going to write my entire dissertation. I'm going to finish my data collection. When you work in these sprints, it allows you just enough time to get something significant done, but not too much time that you're like, oh, I get to it. I got so much time. 12 weeks it's long, but it ain't that long. So what we're going to do on Thursday is help you to identify, okay, where are you? Let's create your first 12-week plan, and let's create your first 10-hour plan. And let's do this following the scholar planning routine, because I'm going to look at your plan and break it apart. You are going to be like, well, oh, that makes such a big difference. But you probably most likely wouldn't do this on your own because of, again, how we're taught project management and organization, and as well as answer your question. The following Thursday, we're going to talk about your committee. How do you manage up? How do you manage up with your chair? How do you manage up with your committee so you can stay on track? I'm going to teach you how to establish communication, clear communications and boundaries with your committee. Because you know what happens when you do this? They love you. This when they start really getting on your nerves, not because they're hounding you for pages. No, when you have clear communications and clear boundaries with them, they're like, so what you doing? They start calling you. They start giving you extra resources. They start being like, what you going to this conference? I want to talk to you. You end up with friends you don't even want. But it's because you made it easy for them to show up for you. And when you make it easy for someone to show up for you, they want to go all out. For those of you who have experience supervising folks, think about the people on your team who make it easy for you to show up for them and how harder you go for them versus that we all got that one person and you're like, hey, did you read your job description? Do you know what you're doing? You don't? You just over here? Okay. You don't want to help them because they irritate you. Make it easy for them. And then the third Thursday, we are going to talk about, okay, now that you know what to do and you know how to do it, how do you have the confidence? How do you grow your confidence, grow your identity as a doctor? Dare to be powerful. We go deeper in what does it look like for you in particular to be consistent and disciplined. And we use something called scholar stories, where we go through maybe a common scenario that you might be experiencing, and we break that down of like, okay, this is what you're doing right now, and this is who you want to be. How do you get there? The fourth Thursday of the month is implementation week. So we don't have a formal call, but there is an open Write With Us session where you're going to show up and get work done. Because that following Saturday and Sunday is the 10 pages in 2 days writing retreat, like we are right now. And the 10 pages in 2 days writing retreat is your opportunity to go hard in the paint to finish your one thing for the month, to finish your goal for the month so that you can start the next month with the next goal. And that is how you execute your 12-week plan in a way that's like, I'm doing good work, I'm being consistent, but I'm not getting bogged down in perfectionism, and I'm moving forward. And my chair is like blown away. It's making me think about Tasha W in the group who wrote her entire proposal, prepared for her exams, wrote those exams, passed that exam, passed her proposal defense in less than 6 months. Following the process, we have co-writing sessions Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 7 to 9 Eastern. And we also have one Wednesday, 12 to 2, which some of you have come to because that noon to 2 p.m. on Wednesday is open to anyone who wants to come. But the rest of them are only for FYD folks. And right now, because it's crunch time for a lot of people, I think that room has been staying open to what, 10, 11? I don't know. People been putting some hours in. So you can always come into the community and ask folks if they want to write with you. It's an open Zoom room and folks come in and hold each other accountable. But these calls are all led by, we have call facilitators who are doc students just like you. Then they show up and they say, they're just leading the room, asking you what you're going to focus on, and then doing Pomodoro sessions. But there are times outside of this where people get together and they write. You just simply have to come into the community and ask folks. We have a dissertation vault. It's this Google spreadsheet for right now. But as you see at the bottom for each section, oh, let me move that out the way. Please move, assistant. For each section of the dissertation, there's a group of videos and resources to help guide you along. Especially for those of you who like listening to the podcast and want to go down rabbit holes, you will be in this vault for a very long time because this is, I think the last time we did a cleanup was probably 2022. So, I mean, still a substantial amount of videos in there. This is our community. In between calls, we're here on the circle. A lot of you are already in circle, but we just want to open up this left side for you. You didn't know there were tabs at the bottom? Yes.
No, I did not. Then you had a whole lot of videos because, yes, you can go down the rabbit hole. Because one time I went down that before you put it in that spreadsheet, and oh my gosh, I was like, where's the other stuff? I know she had it.
Yeah.
I got to go back in this. I went over this with you on the call, but okay. I don't know where my mind was because this show went on that. But okay, thank you.
You're welcome. And if you need like an extra layer of accountability, you can sign up for private coaching, call it 90-day private coaching sprint. You know, I love the 3 months, clearly. So that gives you 6 private sessions. The first one is a 90-minute session where we go deep, review your 12-week plan, add some more details to it, and make it very doable so you don't even have to question. And it's personalized because it's you and I meeting one-on-one. After that initial sessions, and we have 5 more bi-weekly sessions where we're just checking in to see, did you do your assignment? How did it go? Do we need to tweak anything? I also give you detailed feedback. My feedback on your writing is, my goal is to, one, be a translator for your chair to tell you, like, if you turn in this draft as it is, this is what your chair may say to you. I feel like I am a great translator of the chairs. And then 2, I will give you, my feedback is like, oh, say this, or give me an example that's something like this. I am helping you to write more and be very explicit with your writing. That's the type of feedback I'm giving you so that when you turn in that draft to your chair, you can feel fairly confident that they're going to accept it. And you're going to have a heads up on knowing the type of feedback that you're likely to receive in return so that you can start working on it while they're reviewing it. And by the time they give you the feedback, you're already set to go. I'm the type of person who's like, we work on, you give them a draft, and while they're looking at the draft, we're working on another draft. So it's just constant motion, which is how you're able to do things so quickly. And then you get a personalized weekly plan. Every time we meet, I'm going to give you a very clear assignment. You need to do this, you need to do this, you need to do this. You're going to do this on this day, at this time, at this location. Oh, don't forget about that you got to pick up the baby and do the thing. So we're going to do this on this time. Like when I say that level of detail, that's how detailed we're going in your weekly plan. So the first option you could join, this includes private coaching and access to the program. So you get 4 months of access to the Finish Your Dissertation Institute, which means you get 1 month for free if you're doing your math. 6 private sessions, right? That's the breakdown, feedback, You come to the 10 pages in 2 days, writing retreat, and you get access to all the resources and the calls. If you're like, girl, I'm good. I don't think I need private coaching, but I think I would benefit from the community, then you can join $250 a month. You get access still to the vault, to the community, to the calls. And I am there every week to answer your questions. And you can ask folks here. I'm able to get to a decent amount of people on the calls. I just find that a lot of people, by the time we get to the Thursday calls, don't have many questions until we get to like 10 pages in 2 days. But I'm still accessible there as well as other team members. So you have 3 options. You can keep trying it your way. You can sign up for private coaching, or you could join the FYD Institute as itself. What happens is you will go to the page, let me put it in here, and you will check out, put in your payment information, read over it if you need to. You will receive an email that's a welcome email that says, hey, please make sure you do these next steps in order to get access to the program. If you sign up for private coaching, which I only have 3 spots for, you'll also get an email that says, here you go, please schedule your first session. Okay, y'all, let me stop doing 2 things at once because I keep making the same mistake. Okay, please let me know if that doesn't work. That is the link. What if it doesn't work for me? Well, if you sign up for private coaching, you try it out for the first month. If you're like, this is not working for me, show me your work and you'll get a refund. That means you have to show me your timeline, your 12-week plan. I need to see 4 weekly plans, 4 evaluations. You attended at least 4 calls. That means 1 call a month. 1 call a week. And I need to remove this. This is something older. And 1 shitty draft is updated on the website. And 1 shitty draft from your feed, from your chair. If you could show me your work, then I'll give you your refund. Because I know if you do the work, you would blow your mind with the progress you make. If you join FID only, you just need to submit a cancellation request at least 5 business days before your next payment, and you're good. No questions asked. No need to show anything. What if I don't have a lot of time? Again, ask folks here. Most people got a good 5 to 7 hours for this dissertation, mostly on Sunday. Most people are just showing up to the 10 pages and getting a bunch of work done. Most people are coming to the Sunday night right with us sessions. They got lives, they got partners, they got kids, they tired. And I'm asking you to consider, I know 10 hours is probably a lot for you to even consider, but what if you're able to finish this entire process just working 5 hours a week? It's making me think about Dr. Gabby Mallet, who she had a solid 4 hours. She was a associate provost at her institution. She had 2, 1 middle schooler, 1 high schooler. She was responsible for a lot of things in her church. Her husband had a business and she would travel with him often. And she didn't have a lot of time. Plus, she had to do her weekly happy hours and read her smut novels. And she became a whole doctor, 4 to 6 hours a week. Is achieving your goal of becoming doctor worth that? What if I'm not at the dissertation phase yet? Even better. Chris, I don't know if Chris is still here, but Chris joined while still in coursework. We worked on, okay, how do you finish out these classes strong? How do you start working smarter by like thinking about, okay, what is your topic going to be? How do you start working on things like your literature review so the exam process can be easier? So when you're done with the exam, you go, hey, chair, I'm ready to schedule the proposal defense. We'll need to wait. I'm ready. We also have workshops for you. So some like making advisors work for you, staying ahead without burning out, passing qualifying exams without losing your mind. What if I can't afford it? I would say, I don't think you can afford not to. I want you to think about how you've been showing up this weekend. I want you to think about how you feel this weekend. Now, sure, this is not for everyone. It's not. But if you have felt more hope, more relief than you have in weeks and months, at least try it out for a month to see if it makes a difference. You will become a doctor no matter what. I'm not sitting here saying you need to finish your dissertation institute to become a doctor. That's going to happen. I'm asking, how do you want to get there? Do you want to be tired, sick, broke down? Or do you want to be present, healthy, happy, whole? That's a decision that I'm asking you to consider. Okay. Are there any questions or anything that folks would like to say?
Dr. Lacy?
Yes,
it's
ma'am.
Jana. I just put for my dissertation acknowledgments what I wrote to the group, what I wrote to you guys in my dissertation acknowledgments.
I love it. Okay, is it okay if I read it?
Absolutely.
Okay. To Qual Scholars and Doctors Lacy and I, thank you for reminding me that I had already had everything inside of me that I needed to write this paper. Oh, you're so welcome. And to Jana and to everyone else, you know enough. You have enough. You are enough as you are right now to be a whole ass doctor. I'm just trying to provide you additional support and accountability to meeting your needs. Thank you for
Because
sharing.
everybody, I want to let you know, when I first met with Dr. Lacy, the first thing Dr. Lacy said to me, Dr. Lacy already had my number. Dr. Lacy was like, so we're being extra. And I was like, oh, okay. Because she clocked me because I'm a Libra. And you all know she knows the zodiac. And so she was like, okay, so we're just being extra, because I was giving her a whole sob story about how I was the last person in my cohort, this, that, and the third. And she was like, oh, okay, so my advisor, as you all heard before, I may catch a charge on this man, who, by the way, just emailed me. We should meet this week.
That's about to be your best friend. You don't know it yet, but that's about to be your best friend.
Please. And you know what? I know that you're right. Anyway, yeah. So everybody, she like, it's not easy. It's not easy, but if you prioritize yourself, do the things that, the one thing that my sister also has a PhD, and the one thing that she told me when I got into this program, she's just like, the people who are the experts, she's like, just do what the people tell you to do. And I do that in my program, and I did that with Dr. Lacy, I did that with Dr. I, all of the other doctors who come and who give us their wisdom. I have notebooks, because I love a notebook. I just have notebooks where I write things down. And that bare minimum, remember I told you that I was doing the bare minimum and he was messing with me? But I was like, nope, I'll keep doing the bare minimum. And then when this deadline where they were like, oh, you got to get in the whole draft. And I was like, cool. And I was doing, that time I was doing 10 hours a day to make sure that I got everything in. I was doing 2 weeks, 10 hours a day, but it's in.
But she also had to hear a lot of my conversation being like, why are you doing that?
Right.
But again, like I said, right, like, to me, I'm just giving you a process that I want you to model that works for you. That's what, right, Jana needed. So that's what worked at that time. But it's like, okay, 2 weeks on, I go take a break.
Right. I slept for 72 hours. As soon as I turned it in on Friday, I woke up on Sunday. You know, my fiance was just like, you need to, I don't even think I ate, honestly. I was drinking like Ensure and water, because all I did was sleep. My body was just like, now you need to rest. All I did was sleep. And I can't wait till I defend. I'm going to put up the link. He just sent me the link along with that. We should meet. So I'll put up the link in the chat room. If anybody's interested in defending, I defend on April 8th.
Okay. Put it in circle so that we can have it out.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I'll put it in circle. And
then I'll tag it and post it again.
Okay. All right. Supposedly I walk on the 15th, and we'll see.
You do.
Hey, what about supposedly? Change that, and I want to.
I may choose the August option. I may choose the August option.
Why? You just said you were done.
I am.
Okay, so why are we walking in August?
It depends on the paperwork gamut. On the paperworks. Because I do work 40 hours a week. And I'm in a co-program, so I have to go between 2 colleges.
Mm-hmm.
And it took 2 colleges 2 weeks to get my paperwork signed for my defense. So I'm like, all right, that's how we're gonna do it. Then.
It's
Wanna make
done.
sure. Yeah.
So thank you. And I hope y'all are seeing I'm here as a facilitator. I am
Yes.
not the all-knowing anything. It's because the power of community and us
Mm-hmm.
holding each other accountable is how this
Facts.
works. Which is why you are able to unmute and do all the things. Because again, this is not the Dr. Lacy show. This is us helping each other. Okay, are there other questions? Okay, if I can only make another retreat for the next few months, is there a newsletter or something that I could subscribe to that would alert me to sign up? So yes, you are already on the list, Bridget. You will get the future emails. And I will say moving forward, anyone can sign up for FYD. It will be $250 a month. There just may not be any private coaching spots available. 2 have already been claimed. So if you are someone who's on the fence, I'm going to invite you to get on it because, like I said, I will no longer be accepting private clients. After this round, I'm going to get a cutoff because Kristen is not on here, so she can't yell at me. But she gave me a cutoff of next weekend that I had to stop. And I probably won't be able to take folks again until August. So, yes. I'm happy to answer any questions though, if you have that. And also if you want to attend any future 10 pages in 2 days writing retreat, you will have to be a FYD member. Unless we do another special like we did today and you invite a friend. Any questions about FYD or about what we covered over these 2 days?
Questions? Can we get a copy of the slides like you did yesterday?
Yes.
All right, thank you. And I know I said it a million times, but I genuinely appreciate you as well as all the other participants. This has been great.
Thank you for coming. So those slides are there. Okay, y'all. Oh, yes, that's a great question. Is the price the same for FID members for private coaching? Yes, that price stays standard, but actually, Ashley, I need to go look at what you came under. So if you are someone who's paying a month to month, that month to month would stop. But you will pay that. If questions come up, please email us. Yeah, Ashley, you see, here's the thing. I am all fire. Okay. I'm all fire. That means I changed my mind too much. So I will have to go look at your agreement. And I could do that right after this. I'm all fire. That means it's just, you don't even know what you're going to get. I don't even know how I finished a degree. By the grace of the universe. Thank y'all so much for coming. If you have questions, that's what I was doing, putting the email in the chat. Feel free to email us. Danielle will be happy to send your response. Or you can come to community and ask community folks. If you want to talk to people just to get a sense of, is this something you should do? Feel free. If you want to talk to me, I will tell you the truth. But I want to say I am deeply, deeply grateful for y'all willing to trust me to show up for a whole 2 days at a time of year where you could have just stayed in your bed. So thank you. And I hope y'all have a beautiful rest of your Sunday. And I hope to see y'all next time. Bye, y'all. And don't forget, write with us at 7 for those of you who will be here.